Mr. Larry Pope is requested to speak to council regarding respect. And Mr. Pope, you've spoken to us enough. I'm not going to ask you to state your address unless you move.
Mayor, City Council, Mr. Berry, and Mr. Crum. Thank you for allowing me to speak this evening, and my title for what I wanted to talk about was respect. And I will cover that from a couple of different angles. First of all, I know that sometimes when I come before you, we don't always agree or see eye to eye. I know that several months ago I came before City Council after meeting with the mayor, Attorney Dula, and one of the assistant city managers when I had concerns about Hickory Public Housing Authority as a former board member of 9 years. I found that during my tenure on that board that there were a lot of things that developed that even I, as a non-sighted individual, could see and know was not right. When I set up the meeting with the mayor and tried to let him know ahead of time the things that I had concerns about, I don't feel that I was giving proper respect because he said I have no control over Hickory Public Housing Authority. That is a board issue. So I felt like I was wasting my time. So I went back and went to the full board and tried to tell them, but because they carried such a large rubber stamp for what the executive director wanted them to know and do, they pretty much did what they wanted to do, so I moved on and filed a formal complaint with the U.S. Department of Attorney General's office in Washington, D.C., and also with the Greensboro office. They came in and spent 4 months doing an audit, doing an investigation, and found that there was a lot of mismanagement by the executive director, and there were other things that they found. I promised this city council that I would be back one day and I would be able to say to you, I told you so. And all I want to say is, I really don't care deep down in my heart whether you like me or don't like me, but I feel like as leaders of the city, you need to listen to citizens when they come to you, and you need to give respect to the opinions of citizens of this city. Just like when we spent thousands of dollars on the survey that we did on the 2 swimming pools, and yet and still you came right back after the citizens said, we're willing to have our taxes raised, we want swimming pools in each quadrant of the city, and one aquatic center located somewhere along the major thoroughfares of our city. There was no respect given to those opinions and to those citizens that voted in Northwest Northeast Hickory for what they wanted and what they felt like you as their leaders should do for the citizens of this city. So all I shall say to you at this point is the final word will be coming down, and I feel like you need to know ahead of time, just like I told the mayor in our meeting, that HUD can come in and HUD can take our federal and state funding for things that we have not done as a city with spending federal dollars. Ladies and gentlemen, I encourage you to listen to your citizens when they try to advise you on things that they know is not right. Thank you.
Mr. Pope, we appreciate your remarks, and they were done so with great decorum. I would like to respond because I've been fairly quiet about this. We immediately scheduled a meeting with Mr. Pope, the executive director, Ms. Doula, Ms. Surratt, and we told Mr. Pope that if he would provide us the questions in writing, so we'd have a formal starting point. The questions were not going to be moving around. We said, we will see to it that these questions are answered to the satisfaction of HUD because of our involvement, limited though it is, in appointing the directors of the Hickory Public Housing Authority. We never were given that list of questions to assure were answered to the satisfaction of HUD. The second thing is there are issues that the Housing Authority is going to have to deal with. I think they have a good board. Everyone has been appointed by, I guess this council. I think they say it's officially me who appoints Mr. Pope, and the others have been on that board. But this council appoints them. It's a good board. They are looking into a resolution with HUD of the matters raised. There has been no allegation of misappropriation of funds. There have been documentation issues, and there have been nepotism issues. The $522,000 that the Housing Authority has been directed to pay back because it was to relatives of board members. And $518,000 of that was paid to Mr. Pope's brother while Mr. Pope was on that board. And we've got a board that thought they were doing the right things, and I believe they have done the right things as best they can. They've made mistakes. They're going to undergo new training, and I believe the final word will be coming down, and I think the final word will be acceptable, and will continue to provide quality housing to the people who deserve it in our city. Mr. Pope, you have already had the floor.
Yes, sir, Mayor, but you know, I feel the need to say to you that I will not allow anyone to misunderstand or misconstrue what happened. If you remember, in the paper you said, and HUD found it in their investigation, I recused myself from any voting on any contracts. I even removed myself from the room during the discussion of the lawsuit that was brought against Hickory Public Housing Authority by my brother who provided maintenance services to them. I was never told, either by Dean Amos, the attorney, or Londa Jackson, that there needed to be a letter of waiver presented to HUD and have it approved by HUD before that contract was awarded. So I don't want anyone to misunderstand what happened, because I told the investigator that Mr. Pope was my brother, but that I had recused myself and removed myself from the room during any discussions or any voting. I did what I thought that I had to do in doing that. But, you know, Alonda said she didn't know. She's been executive director for 13 years. After the media went down on that Monday, one of the board members, met with her because I had people across the street call me and tell me that they saw you go in and saw you come out. So I don't want anyone in this city to misconstrue, just like when she hired her husband, and it said in the paper, and I know for a fact that she hired him knowing that she should not have. And just like when I told you and Mrs. Doula and the assistant city manager that there had been bonuses given to 7 of the 9 maintenance workers by her for falsifying maintenance records, and y'all didn't want to hear that. So I hope that when it's all over and it all comes out, that you will then see, if you had listened to what I had to say when I met with y'all, that all of this would have had no need to go to the federal government, that it could have been settled locally. But when y'all and when the board said to me, we're not here to micromanage and we have no control over the executive director of Hickory Public Housing Authority, when Hickory Public Housing Authority was established through the charter of the City of Hickory, it again tells me that you as mayor don't know the things that you should know. And I just say, please, in the future, listen to citizens when they come to you and want to talk to you, and work with those citizens to find out what is the truth, instead of taking a position of, well, you know, he's forever complaining. Yes, I complain because I know and I want to know that I'm not living a lie and I'm not trying to cover up something that should not be happening. Thank you.
Mr. Pope, of course, was out of order, but I decided it's good to go ahead and let this subject be aired. I have nothing further to say. I made my statement. Anybody else have anything they'd like to say? Okay, we have a motion to go into closed session.